Welcome to H2K Infosys. H2K Infosys is a e-verify business based in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. We provide 100% job-oriented, instructor-led, face-to-face, true live online software training programs. It also includes access to Cloud Test Lab with software tools. We provide live project for you to work on. We also provide assistance with mock interviews, resume preparation and review, and job placement assistance. H2K Infosys is trusted by so many students across the world. H2K Infosys provides world-class services in IT training with real-time project work for corporates and individuals, special IT training for MS students in the United States, software design, development, QA manual and automation, performance testing and maintenance, IT staff augmentation, job placement assistance, and tech support.
In last class, we have learned about servlets, and we have written our HTML code inside our servlet. Because ultimately, when we are going to respond back to the client, we are supposed to send the response in the form of HTML only. So within our date servlet, if you take a look at the code, we are preparing the HTML response externally by using our out.println. This looks okay because we have only one parameter. But what happens if we have plenty of text boxes or check boxes or any other kind of information that we want to display onto the front end? Or let us say we want the data to be printed in a specific manner, or we want some division kind of stuff on the left side, right side, menu, and all those stuff. So then our servlet will become complicated in the sense this kind of stuff, the HTML preparation, is not at all required for us to do at the servlet level. Our main intention is to work on the business logic first. Currently we have small amount of information like username and password. But if at all, if we have a lot of business logic process which will communicate with the database and retrieve some information from the database, and then once after that, we need to display the data onto the front end. So that will be like we are supposed to concentrate mostly on the business logic instead of the HTML display. This is a disadvantage with the servlet. We are writing HTML code within our Java, and the preparation of HTML is somewhat awkward. So for that purpose only, they have provided one more option, which is JSP. Extension for that is Java Server Pages. As you can see, pages, normally the pages are just like your HTML pages, and JSPs are, you can say, extensions for your HTML page, which works on the server side. JSPs, it contains only HTML tags, or you can say JSP tags. And it also contains your Java code as well. But here in Servlet, HTML will be specified inside the Servlet code or inside the Java file. But here, Java code will be specified within your HTML code. JSP page, it contains tags, tag information, just like how you have within your HTML. Your JSP also contains tags information, and during compilation process, in the sense your JSP will be first converted to a Java file, nothing but your servlet, and then it will be compiled to class file, and then it will be deployed as a servlet to your container. So once it has deployed as a servlet, you already know the rest of the work. Once it has deployed as a servlet, it will handle client requests, and each thread will be created. At first time, it will create a single instance, and from then onwards, it will create a separate thread. So the only thing that will be done, so normally for a servlet, it will be deployed on the container itself. But for a JSP, first of all, it was supposed to convert to a Java file. Java file, nothing but your servlet code. Your servlet, whenever you are writing a servlet, you are extending HTTP servlet, and then you are overriding doGet or doPost method. But in this case, a JSP file you are writing nothing but your HTML tags, and it will be converted to a servlet by your container itself. Container converts JSP page to servlets. And one more additional step which we are doing with respect to servlets is configuring the servlet within DD, which is nothing but your deployment descriptor. But for a JSP, no need to have any entry in DD. So whenever you are requesting for the JSP page, internally it will hit the servlet code, but on the top level, your container will take care verifying the requested JSP. JSP will consist of an extension called .jsp, just like how your HTML file consists of .html. JSP consists of .jsp, and JSP is entirely based on tags. So there are several types of tags available. The first one is scriptlet tag. Scriptlet tag, which is used to write your Java code. So let us start with a small example, then we'll be able to understand the tags clearly. I'm going to write a small code counter increment Java file. So this counter increment consists of, my intention is I just want to verify how many number of clients are hitting my website. So that means I need to know how many number of visitors are available. So that means I need to have a static counter value, and the counter needs to be incremented. With each request. I shouldn't be using a normal instance variable because I don't want to have a new instance variable for each client request. I want a counter variable which is shared between all the client requests. That's the reason I'm using a static counter variable. So let us go and create a static counter variable, counter variable within our counter increment class. Com dot user dot Java file. The class name is counter increment. And here within our counter increment, I'm declaring one static variable, and I'm writing setters and getters. I don't want any setter method, so I just need only getter method. So from my JSP or from my HTML, I'll just call this method and I'll see whether the counter value is getting incremented or not for each client request. Counter plus plus client request received plus counter value. This is the Java code. So now create a JSP page. To create a JSP page, right click on the project, new JSP file. Under HTML file, you can see one more option, which is JSP file. Select that one. You can see that there is a .jsp extension automatically which got added. Counter display is my JSP file. Click on finish. Forget about the first line. We'll discuss about that later. You can see that your JSP page also consists of only the HTML tags. This is just like the login.html which we have created, and here it consists of your form tags, it consists of body and header tag. Within your JSP also you can see that you have the same options because your JSP is nothing but an HTML which works on the server side. Currently we have mentioned that we can use Java code within our JSP. For a normal HTML file, this is just like the static content, and you can't use any kind of server-side code, static pages. So whatever the resource that was available on the server, it will be provided as it is. But within your JSP, the JSP is nothing but which works on the server side. That means which is useful for dynamic content. So currently, I want to display the counter value, how many number of requests that are received. So I'm writing one h1 tag, number of requests received. So the first tag that we are going to learn within our JSP is Scriptlet tag, which is used to write the Java code. The Scriptlet tag will be specified by using an open brace, percentage symbol, and within this you can write your Java code. So that means Java code, you already know how to write the Java code. You can declare any kind of variables, you can write any kind of statements, and you can write any kind of loops or any kind of logic or anything that you want within your JSP page. You can simply write within your scriptlet. Scriptlets are used to write your Java code. So current case, I'm going to write the Java code. My Java code is to fetch the value by calling the get counter. So my class name is com.user.java.counter increment. Counter increment, and inside counter increment I have a get counter. Get counter is a static method, so no need to create any object for that. Your JSP consists of certain implicit objects. I'll tell you later what is meant by implicit object and how I'm able to access this particular out object. But this is just like the out object that is available within your servlet. So here you can see that I have created response.getWriter, and I have taken that with a reference variable out, and you can see that I'm using out.println here. So this is also the response object only, the response object printwriter kind of stuff, but I'll tell you how I'm able to access this one later. Because to create or to access any reference variable, that needs to be pointed to any kind of object. But for JSP, there is a concept called implicit objects, which will provide the object directly to your page. So that's the reason I'm able to access, but we'll discuss more about implicit objects in a minute. So here you can see that com.user.java.counter-increment.getCounter-value I'm calling, and I'm printing by using out.println. Once a page has compiled, it will be, or the JSP page will be converted to a Java file first before the compilation process, and then it will be loaded as a servlet within your container. So during the page execution, just like how your Java code executes, the JSP page also starts from top to bottom, and when it has reached this particular code, the data will be printed onto your front end. Let us go and execute this one. You are supposed to deploy the JSP page onto the server. So previously the JSP page was not available. Now the JSP page was available on the server. So restart the server. Here you can see that number of requests received and the count value is 1. Client request received 1. I'm just hitting one more time. You can see that second client request has received, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. So here you can see that by using static variable, I can see how many number of requests are received to my JSP page by using static increment. So whatever the Java code that you want to write within your scriptlet code, within your JSP page, you can just mention within your scriptlet. Here you can see that based on, here you have all the HTML tags, but within somewhere within your HTML tags, you are writing Java code. This is more better than specifying the HTML code within your servlet code. JSP deploy in the sense, whatever the, deploy means it's not required for you to go and deploy each and every resource. Whenever you're deploying onto the project, it will deploy all the resources that are available within your project. So what I have done is, I'll show you one more time. Remove. Currently the project was not available on my server. Now I'm trying to execute my file. So the Tomcat knows that the project was not available previously, and it will move to the configure session. And when you click on finish, the project will be deployed onto the server. You can see that it is asking me to restart. It will deploy the application onto the server and make it available to execution. So now, here you can see that I am writing the Java code, that is fine within my scriptlet. But what I am doing, the counter increment, I am using fully qualified path. We have learned one concept called import statements within our Java code to not to write the fully qualified class name. So within your JSP, if you want such type of functionality, you need to use another JSP tag, which is directive. Directives are nothing but additional information to the container. Directives are additional information to the container. There are 3 types of directives available. The first one is page directive, and the next one is include directive, and the next one is taglib directive. Page directive, which is used to specify certain attributes like your import statement, error pages, and so on. Include taglib, which is used to include the contents of another resource like your HTML or JSP page. And the last one is tag library. So currently you have HTML tags. If you want to use some custom tags, then you will make use of tag library. So the next one is okay. So here I'm not going to write the fully qualified class name. I'm just clicking control space, which will import by using page directive. The symbol for directives is @ symbol. I'm sorry. Percentage @ write your page directive or taglib directive or include directive, and then end with percentage closed brace. So the difference between scriptlet and directives are you are supposed to use one more symbol, which is @ symbol. Whenever you have specified @ those are all specified as directives. So here you can see that percentage @ and the directive is page and the attribute is import, and you need to specify the fully qualified class name. Whenever you are specifying the attribute values, just like how you are specifying within your HTML tags, you are supposed to specify within double quotes. There is one other page directive. Here you can see that language is Java, content type is text/HTML, and also page encoding techniques, whatever that you are following. So these are some other additional attributes that you can use with your page directive. You can write all this in a single line, or you can write in multiple lines. Your container will be able to understand that particular case. So with respect to your Java file counter increment, you can see that how we can make use of the import attribute of page directive and write only the class name instead of fully qualified class name. The next one is expressions. Currently, what are we doing here? We are using scriptlet code and we are still writing out.println statements. The purpose of avoiding servlet is not to write out.println or not to write our HTML code within our Java file. But as you look at here, we are still using out.println and we are externally informing to the container to display the data onto the front end. For JSP tags, they have provided one other way, which is expressions, which will be specified by using percentage equal to, and then write whatever that you want. The arguments, so whatever that you have specified within your expression tag. So let us say I'm specifying counter increment dot get count. Whatever the information that you have specified within your expressions tag, they are arguments for out.print method. So at any point of time, normally you'll specify only one statement. If you want to specify multiple strings, how you know how to concatenate the strings, you just make use of the symbol and concatenate the strings. But normally we'll specify only single statement within your expression. Whatever the statement that you have specified within your expression tag, they are just like the arguments for out.print statement. So currently, I'll replace this. Here you can see that I'm not using the semicolon at the end of the statement. The reason for that is what I have mentioned here. Whatever that I have specified within expressions, they are just like the arguments for out.println. So that means this will be taken during the servlet conversion. This will be taken like this, and it will be spaced within your out.print statement. So when you have specified a semicolon, that will be appended as it is to your statement, and this will result a compilation error, because you are not supposed to have a semicolon within your argument. That's the reason this will be going to fail, and you are not supposed to place a semicolon for your expression stand. If you are trying to, you can see that there is a compilation warning. What it is saying, syntax error on token semicolon, delete this token. But with expressions, you can see that you can avoid writing out.println, and during the conversion, your container will be going to write the out.println statement for all your expressions. Let me execute it one more time.
Krish?
Yep.
What's the difference between starting in debug mode and starting in the way you do?
Sorry?
Missed
some part.
Sorry?
Yeah, missed some part. Can you please repeat?
Oh, sure. What's the difference between starting in debug mode over there and starting in regular normal mode?
It is just like how you're doing the debug within your normal core Java mode. Did you anytime work on the debug mode within your core Java?
Yes, well, the layout changes if you go to the debug mode for Java, but here...
No, not the layout. The purpose of using debug mode is you can just make use of some breakpoints within your code. So let us say within your counter increment.java file, if I'm placing some debug points. So here you can see that these are the debug points.
Yes.
So when you run your server in the debug mode, the server execution will stop at this point and give you a control whether to move ahead, or if you want to verify some kind of values, you can verify at that time.
Okay. Yeah, got it. Thanks.
Yeah, that is the purpose even with respect to your Tomcat starting in debug mode as well. So now if I execute the file, previously I have executed it 5 times, you can see that still I'm able to get the same response and the data that got displayed onto the front end. So here we have mentioned that our JSP will be converted to a servlet. So that means your JSP was supposed to convert first to a Java file, and then that was supposed to be compiled to a class file, and then deployed as a servlet onto your container. Normally your Tomcat container, nothing but our Tomcat container, will perform all the steps. So this is my Tomcat, and here we have mentioned that web apps is where all our projects reside. And the next folder is work folder. The work folder consists of all your JSP2 Servlet converted Java files. Open your project. So currently my project is H2K March Servlet project, org, Apache, JSP, counter display underscore JSP.java file. So currently my my JSP file name is counter display.jsp. So whenever the container has converted into a servlet, it will append underscore JSP and it will add the .java extension because it is a Java file. I'm opening this by using Notepad. So here counter display.jsp, this is extending one class which is HTTP JSP page. Normally we have mentioned that all our servlets, they are supposed to extend HTTP servlet. Even that valid for our JSP generated servlet as well. But here it extends HTTP JSP base, and the HTTP JSP base extends HTTP servlet. And once after that, you can see that JSP init method, JSP destroy method, JSP service method. Just like how you have the life cycle for your servlet, JSP will also contain a life cycle, which is JSP init, JSP service, and JSP destroy. Everything follows the same hierarchy. Init will be invocated only once, and destroy will also get invocated only once. And JSP service is where exactly your actual code will be going to run. Normally we have mentioned that do get or do post, which will be called in our extended or custom class, which extends our HTTP servlet. But here you can see that they have overridden JSP service method itself, and within the service method, they are not going to identify whether it is a do get or do post, because ultimately they have directly provided an implementation for service method itself, and your JSP won't have any kind of strategy called do get or do post. So within your JSP service method, which accepts request object and response object, you can see that a lot of implicit objects got created. We'll discuss about these implicit objects in a minute. And once after that, you can see that all the out.write methods and also out.print method accepting the parameter counter increment.get counter. So the counter increment.get count, which we have specified within our expressions tag, they have given as out.print parameter arguments, out.print method arguments. Keep this open. We'll work on the rest of the strategies. We have mentioned that within our JSP page itself, we can write the Java code. So then we don't need to take any help from some other Java file. We can write whatever the code that we want within our JSP itself. So declare one counter variable. And then increment the counter variable. And currently, I'm not going to write this one. I'm directly printing the counter value. If you want, you can write some string appender, number of client requests. So here you can see that I can write within our scriptlet itself the counter value, and then I'm incrementing the counter value, and after that I'm trying to print the counter value. Let us execute this one.
So many of our students have given testimonials on how our training programs are. You will find them on kudzu.com and on our website h2kinfosys.com. On our website h2kinfosys.com, you will also find more detailed information on who we are, the courses that we offer, what each course covers. Also, if you're interested in a demo program, please register on our homepage on the left-hand side. Just give us more information about yourself and we will send you a link for a demo class. The demo class is absolutely free. Experience our commitment by just attending an orientation workshop at no cost. Our team of faculty and advisors are here to guide you with the right information. If you still have more questions, please feel free to call us. Call us at 770-777-1269. This is a United States number. If you're calling from the UK, call us at 020-337-17615. You can also email us at training@h2kinfosys.com or h2kinfosys@gmail.com. Thank you for watching our videos. We wish you a great career in information technology.